That smile, it beams with confidence, knowing that your entire crew is protected. Your building, work tools and assets are secure, and no accident will break your budget. Yes, that assurance that your risks are well mitigated. So keep smiling, knowing your dreams are protected. Build stories, not stories, with AXA Mansard Builders Liability Insurance Cover.
I'm Doris from Lagos and I work with an eye clinic. In the past, I've had the need to use a lot of malaria drugs. And when I mean a lot, a whole lot of malaria drugs. But like we know, sometimes they do not work, which means I have to go back to the doctor and buy more malaria drugs. Who wants to spend money on buying drugs every time? Not me. Okay, this is the thing. I got introduced to the AXA Mansard malaria plan, and I can tell you that it's effective because the drugs they give out is of standard. The doctor visits become less, which is saving me time and money. 450 naira to protect me from malaria. That's it for me.
Life can be amazing when you break new frontiers. Explore the world. And learn some more. So, travel with peace of mind under the AXA Travel Insurance Cover.
Give them the leverage to stay on the path to greatness. Get AXA Mansard Education Plan for your kids today.
This is Baby Boy. And I know you may be wondering why he's lying upside down. Well, life happened some days ago and I really don't want to bore you with the details. But now we are feeling super fly thanks to AXA Mansard Motor Insurance Cover for coming through on Baby Boy's repairs. Enjoy motor insurance you can count on.
Hello, babe. What's up? Any news?
Yes, so they've reduced the fee for that project management course from 100k to 20k. But we need to pay today to take advantage of the price slash. I'm about to make my own payment too.
Oh, wow. So the deal is just for today?
Yes. I'd have asked you to send me your own money, but anybody that knows you knows that you are Mama Investments. All your money is probably in investments and they will take like 1 million days for you to withdraw and send to me.
Mama Investments. A girl has to make more money. And AXA Mansard Investment gives me all of that. Anyway, I have sent my own money. Just go and make your own payment too.
Wait, what? Now? Should you said all your money is in investments?
Yup. With my AXA Mansard Money Market Fund account, I can do transactions fast and earn on the go. And if I want to invest in other portfolios, I do not have to leave my AXA Mansard platform. They offer me a one-stop shop that gives me a wide range of investment options. That's why I'm called my investment now.
Transact, earn, go with AXA Mansard Investments. Visit www.axamansard.com/investments or dial *987*2# to get started today.
Why should you get your car insured? First off, it's statutory. By law, you must have at least a third-party motor insurance on your car to be able to drive in Nigeria. If you don't, you're on the wrong side of the law. But more importantly, your car needs to be protected. We know that when you leave your house, you pray that accidents don't happen. But what if they do? Someone bashes you or you bash someone? You don't want to dip into your hard-earned savings to fix a car, especially in these hard times. That's why you need a comprehensive motor insurance. AXA Mansard's comprehensive motor insurance protects you against accidental damage to your car, even those caused by fire and flood. Accidental damage caused to things owned by third parties while driving, theft of your vehicle, and many more risks. So you can drive with peace of mind. Visit the link on the screen to get your car protected now.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Mommy, I'm not feeling so well.
You're not what? Load my AXA app.
Then you see the doctor. Okay.
All right, ma.
Okay, where's mom?
Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family, and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, so yeah. So who no go no? Who get your most, yeah.
Enjoy more wellness for less with AXA Mansard individual, family, or corporate health plans. Visit www.axamansard.com or call 0700 AXA Mansard to get started now.
Who no go no? Who get your most, yeah. AXA Mansard be the way.
What can go wrong when you travel? You can get sick while you're abroad, your bag may get lost, your flight may be delayed, making you lose time and money. So many things can happen. That is why you must be prepared before you travel by getting travel insurance. AXA Mansard's travel insurance protects you against these major inconveniences and lots more, leaving you relaxed to enjoy your trip. Whatever the purpose of your travel, business, vacation, pilgrimage, there's a plan for you. Prioritize your safety with AXA Mansard's travel insurance. Visit the link below to get started now.
Oh, that today you don't.
I respect your mother. I respect your mother. I don't know.
Don't let them clean your makeup. It's all your car today. I respect you. I respect.
Summertime is travel time. Let AXA cover you against any mishap. Next story.
The floodgates are open. Have you insured your car? By the way, you can pay monthly with premium financing.
Stop! Did you know that there's a data plan on Airtel network that automatically grants you access to chat with a medical doctor? Plus, an additional benefit of picking up drugs from over 2,000 pharmacies nationwide. Yes, you! You will also get a refund when you spend more than 2 nights at the hospital. That's right! Just dial *312*44#. *312*44#. Dial it! Bye!
Hey, have you heard of the health insurance and data combo from AXA and Airtel?
The benefits.
Speak to a doctor anytime for free. Get your drugs for free anywhere in Nigeria and get a refund when you spend more than 2 nights at the hospital. Don't sleep on it. Dial *312*44# on your Airtel line now to get started.
Dial *312*44# on your Airtel line now
to get started. It's the AXA Airtel combo, baby.
Hello, Imagine yourself roaming freely across.
Ah, that smile. It beams with confidence, knowing that your entire crew is protected. Your building, work tools and assets are secure, and no accident will break your budget. Yes, that assurance that your risks are well mitigated. So keep smiling, knowing your dreams are protected. Build stories, not stories, with AXA Mansard Builders Liability Insurance Cover.
I'm Doris from Lagos and I work with an eye clinic. In the past, I've had the need to use a lot of malaria drugs. And when I mean a lot, a whole lot of malaria drugs. But like we know, sometimes they do not work, which means I have to go back to the doctor and buy more malaria drugs. Who wants to spend money on buying drugs every time? Not me. Okay, this is the thing. I got introduced to the AXA Mansard malaria plan, and I can tell you that it's effective because the drugs they give out is of standard. The doctor visits become less, which is saving me time and money. 450 naira to protect me from malaria. That's it for me.
Life can be amazing when you break new frontiers. Explore the world. And learn some more. So, travel with peace of mind under the AXA Travel Insurance Cover.
Give them the leverage to stay on the path to greatness. Get AXA Mansard education plan for your kids today.
This is Baby Boy. And I know you may be wondering why he's lying upside down. Well, life happened some days ago and I really don't want to bore you with the details. But now we are feeling super fly thanks to AXA Mansard Motor Insurance Cover for coming through on Baby Boy's repairs. Enjoy motor insurance you can count on.
Hello, babe. What's up? Any news?
Yes, so they reduced the fee for that project management course from 100k to 20k. But we need to pay today to take advantage of the price slash. I'm about to make my own payment too.
Oh, wow. So the deal is just for today?
Yes. I'd have asked you to send me your own money, but anybody that knows you knows that you are Mama Investments. All your money is probably in investments and they will take like 1 million days for you to withdraw and send to me.
Mama Investments. A girl has to make more money. And AXA Mansard Investment gives me all of that. Anyway, I have sent my own money. Just go and make your own payment too.
Wait, what? Now? Should you said all your money is in investments?
Yup. With my AXA Mansard Money Market Fund account, I can do transactions fast and earn on the go. And if I want to invest in other portfolios, I do not have to leave my AXA Mansard platform. They offer me a one-stop shop that gives me a wide range of investment options. That's why I'm called my investment now.
Transact, earn, go with AXA Mansard Investments. Visit www.axamansard.com/investments or dial *987*2# to get started today.
We are just 2 minutes. Once you get to the place, you pause before you start. There's a video that the registrar will take us through. You stop it. Yes, for that. So it's on the screen. They'll just show it.
Please, can you test your mic?
Hello. Testing.
Hello.
Testing,
mic. Hello. Hello.
Your mic.
You're on the wrong side of
Hello.
the law. But more importantly, your car needs to be protected. We know that when you leave your house, you pray that accidents don't happen. But what if they do? Someone bashes you or you bash someone? You don't want to dip into your hard-earned savings to fix a car, especially in these hard times. That's why you
Everybody
need
online?
comprehensive motor insurance. AXA Mansard's comprehensive motor insurance protects you against accidental damage to your car, even those caused by fire and flood. Accidental damage caused to things owned by third parties while driving, theft of your vehicle, and many more risks. So you can drive with peace of mind. Visit the link on the screen to get your car protected now.
It's time.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 32nd Annual General Meeting of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC. Based on the information provided by the registrars and confirmed by the company secretary, there is a quorum for this annual general meeting for AXA Mansard Insurance PLC, and I hereby declare the meeting open. Before we commence the business of the day, please let us have the national anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
Dear shareholders, this meeting is being held virtually in compliance with the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023. This act is aimed at promoting the ease of doing business, enhancing productivity, and ensuring transparency in Nigeria. Section 11 of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023 as amended, and Section 240, subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 empower public companies to hold their annual general meetings electronically. Therefore, in compliance with the amended provisions of the law, this meeting is being held virtually, with the link published in the notice of this meeting and on the company's website. Also, note that this meeting is being streamed live and can be viewed by all in real time. We would like to assure all distinguished shareholders that the proceedings for this meeting will be conducted on time. Before we proceed, I would also like to draw the attention of all shareholders to the virtual AGM notice shared by our registrars. To ensure a seamless process, it is recommended that shareholders log on to the voting link and enter the dedicated code as we commence this meeting. At this point, let me proceed by introducing members of the Board of Directors of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC present here with us and also by virtual participation. 1, Mr. Kunle Ahmed, the Chief Executive Officer. 2, Mrs. Rashidat Adebisi, Executive Director, Technical and Client Services. 3, Chief Bola Akinola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Non-Executive Director / Minority Shareholders Representative. Mr. Tokwe Adeniyi, Non-Executive Director. Ms. Abiola Bada, Independent Non-Executive Director. Ms. Melina Kotler, Non-Executive Director. Mr. Mariano Caballero, Non-Executive Director. Ms. Latifa Saeed, Non-Executive Director, as well as myself, Mr. Kola Adeshino, your Chairman. I would also like to introduce the Company Secretary, Mrs. Omomi Adewusi. We have representatives from the following regulators and professional bodies with us online. A, Securities and Exchange Commission, represented by Mr. Idris Usman. B, Nigerian Exchange Limited, represented by Ms. Brenda Duke. C, representatives of the Corporate Affairs Commission. D, representative of the National Insurance Commission. E, we also have Mr. Oyelami Adegoke and Mr. Adeshipo Adewale from Mr. KPMG Professional Services, our external auditors. F, our registrars, Datamax Registrars Limited, represented by Mrs. Olufishola Folayan. G, Board Evaluation Consultant, that is DCSL Corporate Services Limited, represented by Ms. Abimbola Olabisi and Ms. Arinze Chuku Chinazon. H, joining us online also are members of the Statutory Audit Committee. And lastly, we also acknowledge the presence of all shareholders and stakeholders attending the meeting via the live stream. Dear shareholders, to facilitate the smooth and effective conduct of this meeting, which is being streamed live, we appeal to everyone to please observe the following rules of engagement. 1, if you wish to speak, please indicate by clicking on the raise hand icon. 2, when called upon to speak, please state your first name and surname before you make your comments. 3, kindly keep your comments and questions brief so as to ensure that other people are given a fair opportunity to also participate. 4, if you encounter any issues during this meeting, please click on the chat box and our representatives will be on hand to assist you. The Register of Directors shareholding and the record of attendance, as well as the annual reports, are available on the company's website. Please note that there will be an opportunity to second each resolution put to the meeting. The notice of meeting. I will now call on the Company Secretary, Mrs. Omomi Adewusi, to read the notice of the meeting.
Notice is hereby given that the 32nd Annual General Meeting of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC will be held virtually via the link shared in the notice on Thursday, 8th August 2024 at 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business. To receive the audited financial statements of the company for the year ended December 31, 2023, together with the report of the directors, auditors, and statutory audit committee thereon. 2, to declare a final dividend. 3, to authorize the board of directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. 4, to disclose the remuneration of managers. And 5, to elect the statutory members of the statutory audit committee. Special business. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company. A, to approve the remuneration of the non-executive directors of the company. B, that in compliance with the rule of the Nigerian Exchange Limited governing transactions with related parties or interested persons, the company and its related entities be and are hereby granted a general mandate in respect of all reoccurring transactions entered into with a related party or interested person, provided such transactions are of a revenue or trading nature or are necessary for the company's day-to-day operations. No voting by interested parties in line with the provision of Rule 28C, Rules Governing Related Party Transaction of the Nigerian Exchange Limited. Interested persons have undertaken to ensure that their proxies, representatives, or associates shall abstain from voting on this resolution 6A above. C, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to complete and do all such acts and things, including executing all such documents as may be required to give effect to transactions as authorized by this ordinary resolution by order of the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have the pleasure of presenting the director's report and audited financial statements of the company, as well as a chairman's statement for the year ended December 31, 2023. The director's report can be found on page 37 of the annual report, which has been displayed on the company's website, and I suggest that they be taken as read. I now lay before you the director's report and the audited accounts of the company for the year ended December 31, 2023, in accordance with the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the company's article of association. I will now call on Mr. Oyelami Adegoke to read the auditor's report. Okay. Let me now invite the chairman of the audit committee to read the audit committee report. I now call on Ms. Abiola Bada, the chairperson of the audit committee, to read the audit committee report.
To the shareholders of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC, in compliance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, 2020, the members of the Audit Committee of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC hereby report as follows. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, 2020, and acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. We are of the opinion that the accounting and reporting policies of the group are in compliance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices, and that the scope and planning of both the external and internal audits for the year ended 31st December 2023 were satisfactory and reinforced the group's internal control systems. We have deliberated with the external auditors. We have confirmed that the necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of their statutory audit, and we are satisfied with management responses to their recommendations for improvement and with the effectiveness of the group's system of accounting and internal control. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me now invite the representative of the auditor, KPMG Professional Services, to read the report of the auditor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everyone. My name is Oyelami Adegoke, partner representing KPMG Professional Services. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So the independent auditor's opinion can be found on the annual report on pages 55 of the annual report. And with your permission, Mr. Chairman and shareholders, I'd like to take an abridged version of the report.
Please proceed.
All right, thank you very much. To the shareholders of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC, report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statement. Opinion: we have audited the consolidated and separate financial statement of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC, the company and its subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the consolidated and statement of financial position as at 31st December 2023, the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, the consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes comprising material accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of the company and its subsidiaries as at 31st December 2023, and of its consolidated and separate financial performance and its consolidated and separate cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standard Board, IFRS accounting standards, and in the manner required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Amended Act 2023 and the Insurance Act 2003 and relevant National Insurance Commission of Nigeria circular. So I'll take us to the last page of the opinion, which is on page 58. Compliance with FRC guidance and assurance engagement on internal control over financial reporting. Sorry, apologies, 1 second. In accordance with the requirements of the FRC, we have performed a limited assurance and report on management assessment of the control of internal control. The work performed was done in accordance with ISA 3000, assurance engagement other than audit of review of historical financial information, and FRC guidance on assurance report on internal control over financial reporting. We issued an unmodified conclusion in our report dated 29 May 2024, signed by myself on behalf of KPMG, 29th May 2029. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I will now call on Ms. Olabisi Abimbola of DCSL to read the report of the external consultant on the board appraisal in line with the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, the NICOM Code of Corporate Governance for Insurance Companies 2021, and the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC Corporate Governance Guideline for Public Companies in Nigeria issued in 2020.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, esteemed directors, shareholders, and all present. My name is Olabisi Abimbola. I will now proceed with your kind permission to read the report of our board evaluation, which is contained on page 54 of the annual report.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. The report of the external consultant on the performance of the board of directors of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC for the year ended 31st December 2023 In line with the provisions of Principle 14.1 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 and Section 4.0 and 2 of the National Insurance Commission Corporate Governance Guidelines 2021 and the Guideline 9 of Securities and Exchange Commission Corporate Governance Guidelines for Public Companies in Nigeria issued in 2020, DCSL Corporate Services Limited was appointed to undertake an appraisal of the Board of Directors of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC for the year ended 31st December 2023. The appraisal involved the benchmarking of performance of the board against the provisions of the NICOM guidelines, the Securities and Exchange Commission Corporate Governance Guidelines, and the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance. And it also entailed the review of the company's corporate and statutory documents, minutes of board and board committee meetings, policies, and other ancillary documents made available to us, the administration of questionnaires as well as interviews with directors and select members of the executive management team to ascertain the extent of compliance with the relevant corporate governance principles and the performance of the board in general. We benchmarked the company's corporate governance structures, policies, and processes against the provisions of the NICOM guidelines, the Securities and Exchange Commission Corporate Governance Guidelines, as well as the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance. Global best practices using the following 7 key corporate governance themes. 1, we looked at the board structure and composition. We looked at the strategy and planning, board operations and effectiveness, measuring and monitoring of performance, risk management and compliance, corporate citizenship, transparency, and disclosure. Following the review of the policies and processes operating in the company, we confirm that the Board of Directors is committed to enshrining the highest standards of corporate governance practices and ensuring adherence to the principles enshrined in NICOM guidelines, the Securities and Exchange Commission guidelines, and the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance, as well as globally accepted corporate governance practices. Furthermore, we confirm that the board is committed to setting the pace for the observance of the highest ethical standards and transparency in the conduct of the company's business. We have preferred the recommendation to address the area requiring improvement and are satisfied that the board will take appropriate steps to implement this. Signed for DCSL Corporate Services Limited, DC Adeyemi. Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you, Directors.
Thank you very much. Thank you. At this point, we're pleased to answer any questions that you may have on the annual reports and accounts of the company before we proceed any further. You may indicate your interest in asking questions by raising your hand electronically, and I will call upon you to ask your questions. When called upon, please state your name clearly and endeavor to be brief. I humbly urge you not to repeat what has been said or asked. All questions will altogether be dealt with and responses provided accordingly.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chairman.
Mr. Adeleke Oladimeji.
Yes, my name is Adeleke Oladimeji.
Yes,
we are so delighted to have these outstanding results. Let me first of all greet everybody online. All protocols duly observed. We are so delighted to be considering this outstanding performance. We are so happy to associate ourselves with AXA Mansard family. Looking at the results we are considering, our company generates a revenue of 87 billion and a profit after tax of 12 billion. We are talking about the difficult environment in which we are operating, in which even some insurance companies are generating a revenue of 12 billion. So I will say kudos to the board. And I can tell you categorically that as at now in Nigeria, we have 2 insurance companies, AXA Mansard and the rest. That's the 2 insurance companies that we have. Also looking at these accounts, sir, I realized that under the year review, we have 524 complaints in our annual report. And the board and management deem it fit professionally to resolve all the complaints internally without letting it escalate to our regulators. I want to give kudos to the board and management also for this. And also looking at these accounts, you realize that AXA Africa Holdings holds 76% of our shares, and whereas the other Nigerian shareholders have 24%. So I want to know, sir, when are we going to have minority representative on the board? The 24% that we have as we are due to have someone that will be representing the minority shareholders. And also looking at these accounts critically, we realize that out of a board of 10 men, it is only 4 shareholders that have shares of this company directly or indirectly. I want to applaud our directors also to have shares in our company. This will also make them to have to work assiduously for the progress of the company. Also, sir, if we also look at this account, the board governance committee meeting of 4 members, only the chairman attended full meetings, while the person of Ms. Abiola Bada, the remaining attend just only 2 meetings. This is not too good for us. I'm not too comfortable with our board meeting in which it is only 2 directors that attend meeting. When 2 directors attend meeting, I don't see that as a meeting. I see that as just dialogue, that they just came to dialogue about the meeting, because there is no proper, okay, if in that kind of meeting, if there is going to put an emotion into a vote, how are they going to cast the vote when it is only 2 of them that attend the meeting? Please, other directors, if you are too busy for this business, they should appoint an alternative director that will represent them. We are not proud of directors that makes meetings, because these meetings are a place where vital information about the company will be discussed. Also, if you also look at the board risk management meeting, it is also 2 directors. There are some meetings that which is only 2 directors that come for the meeting. If the Mr. Thomas Uda is, I think Mr. Thomas Uda has been too busy for this business. I don't know how we are going to manage it. Also, let me also commend the company. Our shareholders fund has grew to 13 billion, and we have an earning per share of 1 naira 28 kobo against 31 kobo that we have last year. And I will say earning has grown from 7 billion to 14 billion. I want to really say kudos to this, but this can only be achieved by hard work, dedication, and commitment to our work. Also, sir, if you look at page 228 under our expenses, you realize we spend a lot of money on adverts. We spend 375 million against 156 million that we spent last year. And I believe are you with me, sir?
We can hear you.
Yeah, because most of our target audience are on social media. Our adverts should be on all our social media handles. Why can't we get a good digital marketing person in our organization that will be in charge of posting and getting good feedback? Feedback is also important when you place your adverts on social media, because a lot of people that have been our customer might want to complain, might have suggestions about it, and they post it, they view their comments about our organization on social media, and there should be prompt and adequate feedback about any post being put on our social media handle. Also, I observed that we spent 206 million on diesel against 163 million. Sir, I want to tell you categorically, it is only AXA Mansard that still do diesel. Most organizations like us, they have gone solar. Everybody has adopted solar in their organization. So please go and look for how effective control and get how you can reduce the total money that we spend on diesel. And also the traveling expenses is also on the high side. Repair
premises and
Mr. Oladimeji, we can't hear you again.
from 191 million to 343 million. And also, sir, if you look at this account critically, I observe that our workforce increased from 358 to 772. I want to give kudos to the board that we deem it fit to reduce the rate of unemployment in our country. But also, if you look at page 132, you are now realize that the wages and salary reduce. And if you look at also the page in which our salary scale was, you realize that we increased some salary staffs. The salary class staff also grew up. I don't know how the workforce and salary reduce. Also, sir, lastly, because I would like to give other members of the shareholders opportunities also to ask their questions. Our business and the future outlook, which is so important. Look at what is happening in the banking industry right now. All of a sudden, this new CBN asks all banks to go and recapitalize. And you see all the banks coming to the market at the same time. What method are we putting in place? Because very soon, whether we like it or not, the insurance business is also going to be affected. The bill is on the house now, and they will soon approve it. They want to increase the capital base of insurance to 25 billion. How strategic are we to think ahead that time? We don't want a situation whereby it is now time they now said, okay, insurance company, we give you 2 years to go and recapitalize. That is when we now see 4 or 5 different types of insurance company coming to the market to raise. Let me also chip this to you, sir. Look at this time that these banks are coming to raise money. It is not the right time for banks to come and raise money. This is the time that people are paying school fees. Our children are. Yes. So I want us to think ahead that time, to think of how we can recapitalize so that we will not be affected when the time comes. Also, the future outlook of the company. I'm looking at AXA Mansard as a company that will be generating a premium of 200 billion in the next 5 years. How strategic are we to achieve this? Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Adeleke Oladimeji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oladimeji.
Yes, sir.
The next question.
No, MOT, no, I'm
Please mute when you're not speaking.
All right.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, other board members and fellow shareholders. The name, once again, is Igrude Moses. I represent the interests of Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria. First, I have to congratulate the board and management on this 32nd annual general meeting of AXA Mansard and on these 2023 reports and accounts. I will start by really appreciating all the work you have been doing. I will speak on 2 grounds. I will speak as a shareholder and I will speak as a customer. So I personally believe strongly in AXA Mansard for the type of business you do and the way you conduct your business. Because I've been part and parcel of this company for a long time, both in insuring car insurance and health insurance. So I can speak authoritatively on your operations. So I'm very glad that your operations are okay. Now, starting with the account. Number one, when you look at, I'm looking at your performance review, your insurance revenue over insurance service expenses and reinsurance contract on page 61, page 224, page 226, and notes 30, 31, 32. That revenue grew by 20%. That is about 13.5 billion from 69.2 billion in 2021 to 82.7 billion in 2023. This is commendable. Also note is the increase in insurance service expenses by 15% from 45.2 billion in 2022 to 52 billion in 2023. Net expenses on reinsurance contract also increased by 22% from 15.9 billion in 2022 to 19.12 billion. Though we witnessed an increase in insurance service result by 40%, we believe that this could have been maximized. So the question we commend we commend the increase in insurance services result. Private economic services are fulfilled with uncertainty. No doubt, we will still need to do our ultimate to maximize profits, minimize expenses. Noted that premiums are hedged against long before payment occur. So we want you to try your best to make sure that our business is such that you receive premium. Then before it crystallizes, you have to hedge against all of this to avoid too much expenses. In other investment income, page 61, page 228, note 34, our investment income increased by 806% from 1.5 billion in 2022 to 14.2 billion in 2023. Analysis on note 34, page 228, shows a foreign exchange gain of 15.9 billion in 2023 from a loss position of 12 billion in 2022. It's an impressive strategy move, very impressive. But sir, can we keep it up? There is a once-off. How are we going to, is this something that can be maintained or is a once-off? It has made us, though it's not only both the bank and all other insurance, we saw this thing in their account. But our concern as shareholders is that why having such impressive gain this year? Can it be sustained? That is one. Then how do we mitigate against the shortfall in future? And how are we going to manage the situation now that the dollar is always fluctuating, coming down, all of that? So we want some explanation on that. So then again, I want to talk of our finance costs. Page 61 also, page 213.40. The increase in finance costs it was about 309% from 275 billion in 2022 to 1.12 billion in 2023. Analyzing this on note 4, page 223 states this primarily relates to interest expenses on our external loan. There is the need for us as a company to monitor our loan vis-a-vis the cost of running the loan liability. How are we prepared? What strategy are we putting in place to make sure that, you know, these days now, you see if you having our loan interest now everywhere is going up. That is, the rate of interest is going up. Why in Europe it's coming down, trying to come down, where in Nigeria here is going up. So how are we managing it so that our interest expenses will not be too, will be manageable, so that it will not be too much to affect the bottom line. Then again, you look at trade payable, page 59, and page 214, note 21. Our trade receivable increased by 63% from 6.6 billion in 2022 to 10.7 billion in 2023. Analyzing in note 21, page 214, as said earlier, the amount due to agents and broker co-insurance payable, we know that this is a cost that must incur as an insurance body. We ask to know how these funds paid out are generated without much impact on the bottom line. We just need more explanation on all of this. Well, I will say from here also that looking at our 5-year financial summary, you have done greatly. And your rate of payment of dividend is okay. We are very impressed about that. Though you have done since last year, we dominated this thing, our share value to 1 naira. So 1 naira compared to per value and 50 kobo, you know how it is. So while we are working and we are praising you, we want you more, do more in order to increase the dividend value to shareholders. But I assure you that AXA Mansard is trying, and you are doing the business the way business are done. And we are very, very impressive that you are leading the way of business, insurance business in Nigeria. But sir, even with all what you are doing, the rate of insurance in Nigeria, the rate of insurance penetration in Nigeria is very, very low. That is to say, we have a huge potential of doing great things in Nigeria. What are the strategies are we putting in place to make sure that this insurance penetration, especially those on informal sector, is a way. I know when the formal sector, you can organize a company and the company will give you, it's easier to maintain and cost effective the time used in managing that. But sir, one thing we must know, the informal sector is unorganized, agree, but when we can develop correct product that can penetrate all these trader, individual, small businesses, we have a huge percentage to earn more money and to help and provide that salient value of the shock absorber for the economy. I can assure you and I tell you, mostly on personal ground, on when I insured my all my cars are insured on your with AXA Mansard. When an accident, my motor got burnt, I can tell you categorically clearly, your response team, the way they responded, was so huge. And for that, I've been pushing your gospel. When you speak with it, can it happen? That is a question ordinary trader or other people will tell you. Can this thing happen? Meaning that many people don't even know that actually if something happens, it can, the insurance company can come straight and assist. In a situation like that, what do? We need more education. We need an industry approach to educate more people, to bring more people into insurance business. Look at what you are now. Whenever you hear every time a market has gone, market have done this. Oh, government should help us. When you look at flood, rainy season, the same thing. People they say governments are not supposed to be the people assisting in such cases. It is the insurance that's supposed to go and design a product that can help and making sure that you mitigate against all this type of losses or occurrence. Then an industry approach must be developed in order to make sure that more Nigerians are brought into the business of insurance by education. By using our technology, it's very key that we use technology. What we have seen with most of the insurance companies are when they live, I've seen your advert in the Airtel and all of that. I've seen that in several other insurance companies. After keying, you will be surprised that you say you will see it again. And when you ask, you say, oh, the NICON regulator did not approve it. Before you develop a product, go along with the regulator for them to understand the processes and all of that. We have engaged the NICON severally. They will tell you that when the insurance people develop a product, the product that they believe that it can be sustainable. So meaning that we have not done a great job on it. So we need to use as a leader of the industry to make sure that we use the technology and design product at soundproof, so that, or rather, I use the word soundproof, a very proved someone that is more convincing to the regulator and the customer. Then, finally, I will talk about the issue that is before the National Assembly. The last speaker said our share, though he has mentioned it, but I want to emphasize this. These are laws. Some of us went to court some years, about 2 or 3, 4 years back, to challenge when NICON said that you people must recapitalize to a certain tune. Our fear then was that they want to get a way of using the big boys to take over the company, the industry. But right now, how long would that be? The act is before the National Assembly, 15 billion, 25 billion, and our shareholder is about 13.something billion. And what are we going to do in order to make sure that strategically we prepare and gradually we can key in if the law come to bear? It is now that we have, when the law is going on, that is before the National Assembly now, that we can go there and make our case. We should not relax. What is the industry doing? What is the individual company doing to make sure that this law, when it comes out, it will not affect the industry in a bad way? What of the health insurance? What are we doing? The health insurance in Nigeria is not a good one. It's not favorable to even you, the operator. What are we doing in all of this one to make sure that whatever policy that is coming out is very good to promote the industry? And what do you want us as shareholders to do? You must communicate to us where we have influence, we can influence. Because the health insurance platform is not individually, that is on your formal sector is okay. But the informal sector is not okay.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Moses. I think
so the strategy. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
The name once again is Moses. I'm the coordinator of Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Moses. The next question, and I want to encourage us to be very brief and straight to the question or comment.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Matthew Akinlade, President of Noble Shareholder Solidarity Association. I say good morning to the chairman, board members, and my esteemed shareholders who are joining online. First and foremost, I want to identify with the commendation that has been passed through the former speakers. And your performance for me is excellent. That we grew the gross premium by 26% and insurance revenue by 20%. It's great. And even when we look at profit before tax and profit after tax, growing many folds, 354% growth for profit before tax and 375% growth for profit after tax. It's also very good. And I also look at your shareholders fund. I'm looking at your result at a glance on page 5, that we were able to grow shareholders fund by 27%, from 29 billion to 30.7%. is great. Another thing that must commend the chairman and other directors for. When I read the chairman's statement, I could see you have a scheme of compulsory medical checkup for all staff members. This is great, that you care about the welfare of your staff. And I believe that will also upscale their productivity. So I want to say congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
For this. And further on chairman's statement, you mentioned investment in professional development opportunity for employees. This again will help to upscale their skill development. And I believe it will be a win-win situation. It will benefit the company and benefit them as well. Another thing I look at there is the award and recognition received by our company during the year 2023. One, we got General Insurance Company of the Year award. I say big congratulations. And then the HR Best Practice Award. There are so many companies in the system, and for you to be singled out for these awards, it speaks volume to your performance. Few things that I want us to look at and see how we can improve on them. When I look at page 4, I could see that's where we have the list of directors. I could see that we have only one independent director, whereas CAMA 2020 prescribed 3. So what are we doing to get to the level prescribed by the authorities? Again, on page 15, I look at the director's profile. I am delighted with that we have highly qualified and experienced individuals that are running our company, and we are going to benefit tremendously from their wealth of experience. But I could notice one thing. In all the profile, we never mentioned when they joined the board. And I will advise that in the future, let us put their date of appointment to the board. That's very important. Somebody has mentioned the resolution of the complaint received, and you receive 524 in the year, and you resolve all. That's an improvement on 2022. 2022, you had 7 unresolved out of 472. So I want to say, let's keep it up and continue to advance. On page 32, 38, note 47, we have contraventions. And we made a payment to NICOM, 30.1 million. Whereas in 2022, we didn't have anything like contravention. So what is the cause of this? And how are we going to avoid such going forward? Now, last and not the least, I look at page 229, note 38, other operating expenses. Professional fees grew by 72% from 215 million to 371 million. What is the unusual thing that we did that is responsible for this? And then again, information technology and maintenance expenses grew by 89% from 539 million to 1 billion. So we need to explain this to members. So finally, I again want to commend you. I don't want to take much of your time, and I know other people who have comments. So I wish our company continuous progress and improvement in performance year in, year out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akinlade. Thank you. One more question so that we can move within time.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of Regulatory Authorities present. All protocols duly observed. My name is Prince Ridwan Hamza. Mr. Chairman, my own will be very, very brief. And to that effect, I would like us to go to page, what was it? Okay, this one that talks to the indices. On that page, Mr. Chairman, I feel everything is already said. Gross written premium grew by 26%, insurance revenue by 20%, PBT by a whopping 354%. Mr. Chairman, it did not stop at that. The PAT grew by a whopping 357. Return on equity, 32%, and EPS by another whopping 316%. Mr. Chairman, I must say you guys have done a very great job.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, it may interest you to know that I am speaking from Gusau, Zamfara State. And in my, what's it called? I've been in Gusau for a while, and in fact, in the north, we have very limited number of branches, if any. I just don't want to say we don't have any because I expect that we should have at least one in Kano. But then I think there is need for us to expand our reach. So to that effect, I think we should look at expansion. Mr. Chairman, I would like us to go to page 23, which talks to the corporate social responsibilities. I must commend you on this page because the year under review is a year where there was so much cost cutting and the rest of it. But our company was still able to give out. But Mr. Chairman, this page, I'm marrying it with page 40, which is the composition of the board and staff management, I think. Just a moment, let me get to the page, please. Yeah, I can see the agenda analysis. Okay, so I see that we have more females than male, which is a very, very good thing to do here. But then, Mr. Chairman, I don't think that should define the way we do our situation. I think we should do some things about the less privileged, the disabled, and sports. Incidentally, Nigeria has not won any medal at the ongoing Olympics. So maybe if we do something on sports, we will help assist the country in getting all of that. Chief Akinlade had spoken to this. Then, Mr. Chairman, somebody talked about us not having minority shareholder representative on the board. Yes, I don't agree with him because you introduced Mr. Chief Bola Akinola, if I'm correct, son, as a minority shareholder representative. Correct. But if you look at the page he referenced as to directors' holdings, you would see that the man has a direct holding of 20 million units. I don't see any director that has up to 30 million units in direct holding. So if he is saying we don't have any minority representative, I think there is a need for some clarity here. I'm under the weather, so I'd like to hang up here and say a very big thank you to not just you, Mr. Chairman, but the entire board of management and staff of the company, and to urge you to keep it up. Do better. Thank you. Ridwan Hamza is the name from Gusau, Zamfara State.
Thank you very much, Prince Hamza. I will now invite Mr. Kunle Ahmed, the Chief Executive Officer, to respond to all the questions and comments made.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, distinguished shareholders, all other protocols observed. I would like to start by thanking all our shareholders. The volume of questions you've asked this morning is an indication of the interest you have in your company. And I need to say it here, the questions do not usually always come around the AGM. I have some of you that once in a while, in the course of the year, do ask us questions. And I would like to put it on record and thank you for your interest in the company. Thankfully, I'm not alone here this morning. I have members of my executive team here on the podium. I'm going to try to answer some of the questions, and my colleague, Mrs. Rashidat Adebisi, might have to chip in a couple of points in order to answer some of those questions. I will start with the questions asked by Mr. Adeleke Oladimeji. Thanks for your appreciation, Mr. Oladimeji, for the result. It is due to the dedication and support of our shareholders and partners alike, and we intend to keep this up in the course of the coming years. You also commended us on the number of complaints we received and the fact that we were able to resolve all of the complaints. On the question of minority shareholder, I think that has been answered somewhat by Prince Ridwan Hamza. I think we have a minority shareholder on the board, Chief Bola Akinola San. And if I look at this particular question vis-a-vis your question on shareholding, which I will answer in a bit, and I think I'll just go to that. Directors of this particular company are dedicated members of the board, and the fact that they don't have shareholding is not an indication that they're not dedicated at all. I'm sure in the course of the coming years, some of the directors will invest in the company and in our shares. You talk about the board governance committee and the attendance at meetings. Again, this is not because of lack of interest in the company. Sometimes we have directors rotate in and out, and the process of getting NICOM approval for those directors take a bit of time. That is why you will notice that in some of the committee meetings, we don't have the full complement of members. This also applies to the risk management committee. Mr. Thomas Ude has resigned his membership of the board, and that will be reflected in the annual report in the coming year. You talk about our shareholders' funds. Thank you. I think that's is a compliment. And you talk about expenses, especially because we spend a lot of money on advert. The way we see advert in this company, we see advert as an enabler. Advertisement enables the business, and we pay a lot of attention to adverts. We are always very strategic about it. You mentioned the fact that we should be on all the social media handles. Of course, we are on all social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we are very, very active on these platforms. I think my team will be sharing on our website all of our handles so that all of our shareholders can follow us and experience some of our publications on all of these platforms. You talk about diesel costs and the fact that we should rotate into solar. We have taken note of this. We have even started work on this somewhat. We are particular about expenses and the fact that we need to, that is the only thing, absolutely in our control. We need to ensure that we manage expenses as much as possible. There are things that we've implemented in the company in terms of work hours that will enable us manage all these particular costs, especially the diesel costs. Some of us work offline, 2 days in a week, and in the office 3 days in a week, and we rotate that amongst our staff. Indeed, sometimes we also encourage staff to close early. Number one, so that we can have they can have a work-life balance. But number two, so that we can also manage our costs as much as possible in terms of diesel costs. Mr. Leleke, you also noted increase in workforce and the fact that we saw reduction in wages. Again, this is a testament to the fact that we pay particular attention to our overall expenses. What we have done is to rotate exits to bring in fresh graduates to replace some of the more senior people that have left the company. Of course, we don't compromise on standards or experience or qualifications. We have people internally that we have moved into the roles vacated by the people that have left. Of course, you know of the Jackpot syndrome. That is gradually dwindling, but we experienced a lot of that in 2023. On recapitalization, you want to know what's the plan. What plans do we have? I'll talk a bit on this because as the chairman of the Nigerian Insurance Association, I was involved in this particular discussion with members of the National Assembly. We were at the public hearing, I think 2 weeks ago, on this particular bill that you cited. Our proposal is for the National Assembly to consider a slightly reduced capital, minimum capital, in the bill. But notwithstanding whatever the National Assembly is going to do, today, as a group, we have a shareholders fund of 36 billion, I think. Shareholders fund of 36 billion. And for the insurance company, we have a shareholders fund of 28 billion. The definition of capital in the bill is a bit different. It's no longer minimum capital. And I'd like to share that today, we have a minimum capital of 18 billion naira. Recall that about 3 years ago, NICOM advised companies to have a minimum capital of 18 billion. Some companies didn't achieve that, but your company achieved the 18 billion naira mark. If the law is passed, and whatever it is that is the minimum capital as specified in the law, we are capable of reaching that point very, very quickly, I can assure you. We will do that as much as possible without coming back to you shareholders for fund. I'll go to the questions asked by Mr. Moses Igbude. Mr. Moses, thank you for your questions. You also started with an appreciation of our results, but you like to know why insurance service expense increased by 15%. Insurance service expense are expenses related to the insurance business, i.e., benefit paid, expenses, and acquisition costs, amortized acquisition costs. You will realize that we grew the business 26%. Therefore, acquisition cost is also likely to grow. But more importantly, claims is one of the lines that have also grown in the course of 2023 for several reasons. You grow your business, claims are likely to grow. But in 2023, we saw a very aggressive inflation in the country. And that affected the average claim cost per a claim. You know, maybe in 2022, you used to pay 10 naira on a particular claim. The same loss, you pay a bit more in 2023, maybe 15 naira. And this cuts across all of our business lines. In the health sector, we are aware of medical inflation, and that also affected that particular line. But the challenge and the job that you have given us is to ensure that insurance expense doesn't exceed insurance revenue. And that is what we have tried to achieve in the course of 2023. You talked about the fact that we saw a capital gain of 15.9 billion coming from a loss, a capital gain loss of 12 billion in 2022. And you ask if we can keep it up. I think the main thing that we need to do is to continue to focus on all of the business lines. What we achieved in 2023 is not solely due to the capital gains we saw. We have been paying a lot of attention to underwriting results. And if you look at our underwriting results, that grew 40%. That has nothing to do with capital gain. Underwriting results that we have achieved in 2023, from the review that we've done with other companies, I think we did the best so far, the result declared so far. But we'll continue to focus on policies or products that will give us, FX as much as we can. We are coming up with a couple of products that will also, that seeks to speak to the pain points of our clients. If you take a policy in Naira and you intend to meet an obligation in dollars, there's a mismatch. So as a company, we are looking at ensuring that we have products denominated in dollars and we'll be able to assist our customer edge that particular risk. You talk about finance costs and the increase in finance costs. Again, I would like to speak a bit more about this. Recall that a couple of years ago, we approached you, the shareholders, and you gave us the approval to take a loan for our property asset, the APD. And what you have seen is just increase in cost because we are trying to restructure that particular loan. More importantly, we had an FX impact on the loan. You recall that the loan was taken in dollars, and we had FX impact on the loan. We are trying to ensure that we rotate this particular loan into Naira in order not to be caught with the volatility of FX. So that's our strategy. You talk about payables and increase in payables by 63%. Again, I think shareholders should not be worried about this. trade payables are tied to the performance of the business. You don't pay out anything without receiving some money. So these trade payables are due to agents and brokers. In most instances, we have received the premium, but perhaps the policy is yet to start because we have some customers that pay us premium well in advance. And this is not a problem at all. We have enough money because we have received those money from our clients to pay our agents and brokers. You talk about dividend payouts, and you'd like to see an increase. We have noted this. But as we move into the era of recapitalization, the jury is still out as to whether we can increase this aggressively. But we have noted your recommendation. You also talk about the fact that insurance penetration is low. Yes, it is. We are, as an industry, because this is not an exercise for only AXA Mansard. As an industry, we have come up with a 10-year strategic plan that will ensure that we deepen insurance in Nigeria. The act that we are also collaborating with the National Assembly to change is another factor that we believe will aggressively increase penetration in Nigeria, all things being equal. And thank you for preaching our gospel because of the experience you witnessed from us in terms of claims. Thank you very much. You talk about product development. Like I said before, we are looking at product development across board. We are a company that likes to put together products that our customers want, not just the products that we have. You also talk about recapitalization, which I've answered in the course of today. Thank you, Mr. Matthew Akinlade. Thanks for the commendations on our award. You talked about list of directors. I think I've answered that question. And the resolution of complaints. Thank you very much. Now, you talk about the fine that we paid to NICOM, and I would like to speak a bit more about that. In 2021, NICOM wrote to all insurance companies in the market to say that they are carrying out risk-based supervision, that is going to be a no-fault kind of inspection, and they went round insurance companies to inspect their books. In our books, they noted a couple of things, two things majorly. One, that we did business with some brokers that are not licensed, and that we have agents that are not licensed. Those are the two major issues. We wrote back to dispute the fact that we did business with brokers that were not licensed, because most of those brokers were in the process of renewing their license when we had transactions with them. But NICOM insisted that we have to pay that claim. We have to pay the fine. And we tarried a bit, but what we saw was that NICOM started turning down all of our requests, all of our other requests, until we pay the fine. So we didn't have any option than to pay the fine. What have we done to ensure that this doesn't happen again? One, we now have a watertight system managed by our compliance team of checking brokers that are licensed before we do business with them. We have also encouraged NICOM to publish on their website on a regular basis brokers that are licensed, so that we don't, we are not caught in this web anymore. On agents, AXA Mansard, your company, together with a couple of companies in the market, came together to create a platform that will ease the process of licensing agents. And thankfully, this is thanks to NICOM. We also approached NICOM to support us on this particular project, and they did. So today, we have a platform that will make it seamless for agents to be licensed, and we believe that what happened in 2023 in terms of the fine will not happen again. You talked about, I asked a question around other operating interests, especially IT related. because we had to pay for these expenses in dollars, there are softwares. That is why we saw a very aggressive growth in that, on that particular line. Thank you, Prince Ridwan Hamza, all the way from Gusau. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. And thank you for the commendation on all the good indices that we recorded in 2023. You talked about a limited number of branches in the north. Yes, we might not have as many branches in the north as we have in other areas of the country, but we do have branches in the north. We have a branch in Kano, Kaduna, we have in Niger, and believe this or not, we have an outreach for our health business in Borno State, in Maiduguri. So we are not nervous, or we are not afraid of expanding our operation. We take a couple of things into cognizance before we even open a particular branch anywhere. But by next year, perhaps you'll see us opening more branches across the north. By the way, somebody just whispered to me, we also have a branch in Ilorin. I think Ilorin is also part of the northern states. You talk about the CSR, and you link the fact that we have more women on the board to the CSR that we've done. There is no direct correlation. Our CSR cut across every year. 2023 might be peculiar, but that doesn't mean that we are only focused on CSR for women. This year already, we've done a couple of things, and we are going to see some of those things by next year. We've answered the question on minority shareholding on the board. I think those are all the questions. Distinguished shareholders, I would just like to reassure you that your company is focused on ensuring that we declare good results year in, year out. I'm sure you've seen our result as at half year. I recall there was a question around the fact that some companies are delivering above 100 billion. As at half year, we've done 94 billion in turnover. Your company, watch this space, will be delivering more than 100 billion in 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kunle Ahmed. Just by way of a chip in from me, I can tell you that if you have the privilege of attending our board meetings, one of the things you'll find out is that the conversations are usually very robust. We are so intentional about the future and equally proactivity along the lines of the decisions we take and all that. Automation is happening. We're ensuring that the staff are well motivated to deliver the highest value possible. And definitely, sooner than you expect, we'll be the #1 insurance company, not just in Nigeria, but equally in Africa. Thank you very much. Ordinary business, I now call on the registrars to explain the voting process. To facilitate the smooth conduct of the business of the day, I will move each motion and invite seconders for each motion on the call. They're expected to kindly unmute and state their names to enable the secretary to take proper note of the names. Furthermore, members are kindly requested to follow the voting procedure as explained by the registrars.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Esteemed shareholders, please be informed that we have captured valid voting details for a total of 3 shareholders received by way of proxies, totaling 7.142 billion units of shares, representing 79.3% of the company's issued shares. As you vote on the resolutions that would be announced by the chairman, kindly note that the voting results will be inclusive of these pre-captured votes. We have put together a short video that would guide you on how to use the online voting platform. Please watch.
In 2024, please follow the steps to cast your votes and ensure your devices are internet enabled. Prior to this time, an email invite has been sent to those with email addresses please refer to the earlier invitation via mail to enable you access the online voting link and token. Click on the online voting link sent to you and enter your unique token received. Click the Continue tab. This will then take you to the online voting platform and dashboard. As soon as voting starts, specific resolutions will appear on your screen with the voting options for, against, and abstain displayed. Simply select the option of your choice. Voting will be open for 1 minute only. Please note, you can change your vote within the 1 minute window by simply clicking on another option. Once the voting period ends, your last selected voting option will be registered as your final vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Esteemed shareholders, now take a look at your email as received. To cast your vote, click on the voting link URL and enter your personalized voting token. Click the Continue tab and wait for the prompt to cast your vote. The screen will display the resolution. Kindly proceed to click for, against, or abstain in line with your voting decision. Also note, you can change your vote within the 1 minute window by simply clicking on another option. Once the voting period ends, your last selected voting options would be registered as your final vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Resolution 1. I hereby move that the audited financial statements for the financial year ended December 31, 2023, and the reports of the directors, the auditor, and audit committee thereon laid before the meeting be and are hereby received. Seconder, please.
I second the motion. My name is Inifola Migapar.
Thank you very much. The registrar may now proceed with the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting will now commence. Please cast your vote in line with your voting decision. You have 60 seconds to vote on this resolution. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting process. The voting process has now been concluded. At the end of voting, we have 7.160 units of shares, representing 100% of the total votes cast in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Resolution 2. I hereby move that a final dividend in respect of the year ended December 31, 2023 of 34 kobo of 2 naira kobo per share, subject to appropriate withholding tax deduction, comprising of 6 kobo already paid as interim dividend at the rate of 2 naira per share in December 2023, and 40 kobo to be paid as final dividend at the rate of 2 naira per share upon its approval at this meeting to shareholders whose names are registered in the company's register of members at the close of business on 8 August 2024. Seconder, please.
I second the motion, sir. Gafar Nicola is the name.
Mr. Gafar seconds the motion. The registrar may now proceed with the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Voting will now commence. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting process. Voting process has now been concluded. At the end of the voting, we have 7.160 billion units of shares, representing 100% of the total vote cast in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Resolution 3. Section 408B of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that the auditor's remuneration shall be fixed by the company in a general meeting or in such manner as the company in general meeting may determine. I hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration and expenses of the auditors, Mrs. KPMG Professional Services, in respect of the year ending 31 December 2023 on the remuneration of the Audit Committee. Seconder, please.
Ibrude Moses.
I so do. My name is Chibuzeke. I so do. My name is Chibuzeke.
Okay, Chibuzeke is the seconder. The registrar may now proceed with the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting will now commence. Please vote. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting process. The voting process has now been concluded. At the end of the voting, we have 7.158 billion units of shares, representing 100% of the total votes cast in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Resolution 4, Section 238 and 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that every company at a general meeting shall disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. I hereby draw the attention of shareholders to page 232 of the annual report, which contains a detailed report of the remuneration of managers of the company and suggest that they be taken as read. Resolution 5, to elect shareholders representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee. I appeal to shareholders to allow us to have the shareholders representatives election after the special resolutions to maintain orderliness and ensure we have all shareholders till the end of the meeting. Special business. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company. Resolution 6A. Section 293, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that the remuneration of directors is determined by the company in general meeting, and such remuneration is deemed to accrue from day to day. Consequently, I call on the shareholder to move that the director's remuneration for the financial year ending December 31, 2024, and for succeeding years until reviewed by the company in its annual general meeting and is hereby fixed at 750,000 naira for chairman and 500,000 naira for non-executive directors. Seconder, please.
I have a second, Mr. Chairman.
I second the motion. Gafar Folami is the name.
May I know who is
However,
seconding?
the amount is too small. The amount is too small. Thank you.
Wait, sorry. Are you seconding or you are seconding the amount is too small? The seconder, please.
I second the motion. Gafar Folami is the name.
I really would want us to have, let's have an orderliness around this. Mr. Gafar Folami is seconding. Is that the position?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. The registrar.
Mr. Chairman, I have an observation to make.
Yes,
you are part of the remuneration that we are talking about. While you are not supposed to be your judge on your own case, why not the managing director move this motion you have just moved?
I think I'll subscribe to that, and I would now ask our managing director to make that request. However, it is important to note it that the managing director is equally a non-executive director. Or it's an executive director, okay. So, Mr. Kuli Ahmed, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, resolution 6B. 6A. Okay. To approve the director's remuneration. Section 293, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that the remuneration of directors is determined by the company at a general meeting, and such remuneration is deemed to accrue from day to day. Consequently, I ask that a shareholder move that the director's remuneration for the financial year ending December 31st, 2024, and for succeeding years until review by the company in its annual general meeting be and is hereby fixed at 750,000 naira for the chairman and 500,000 naira for non-executive directors. I hereby call for a seconder.
It's important that you pay attention. I think it is important that you pay attention to what is read.
Okay,
they ask for somebody to move. So if you want to move, you move. It is not just about unmuting.
Okay, sir. I move, sir. I move the motion, sir.
What's the name, please? Sorry, I didn't get the name.
Gafar Folami is the name, sir. I move the motion as read by the acting chairman.
Mr. Gafar Folami seconds.
He's moving.
Oh, Mr. Gafar Enifolami moves the motion. Can I now have a seconder, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Prince Ridwan Hamza. I second the motion as moved by Gafar Enifolami. However, I would like to commend the company secretariat for the way, for this meeting, even as I commend the board for the way and manner you are conducting the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince Ridwan Hamza. Thank you. Can we now go through the voting process?
Thank you, CEO. Voting will now commence. Please cast your vote in line with your voting decision. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting process. The voting process has now been concluded. At the end of voting, we have 7.160 billion units of shares, representing 100% of the total vote cast in favor of the resolution. Thank you, CEO.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Distinguished shareholders, I will now yield the floor for the chairman to continue with the proceedings of the day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Resolution 6B. We hereby move that in compliance with the Rule 20.8C of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, governing transactions with related parties or interested persons, the company and its related entities be and are hereby granted a general mandate in respect of all recurrent transactions entered into with a related party or interested person, provided such transactions are of a revenue or trading nature or are necessary for the company's day-to-day operations. It is important to note that this particular resolution does not require voting in line with the provisions of Rule 20.8C, which governs this particular aspect we're currently discussing. But we still have a need for a seconder. Who is seconding, please?
I have a second, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari, shareholder from Sokoto State.
Okay. Yeah, I've been corrected that we need to vote in spite of what I said earlier, so I correct myself. We will need to vote. The registrar may now proceed with the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting has commenced. Just cast your vote in line with your voting decision. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting process. Voting process has now been concluded. At the end of voting, we have 270 million units of shares, representing 100% of the total votes cast in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Resolution 6C. We hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to complete and do all such acts and things, including executing all such documents as may be required to give effect to the transactions as authorized by this ordinary resolution. A seconder, please.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby second it. My name is Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari, shareholder from Sokoto State.
Thank you.
I hereby second it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tambari. The registrar may now proceed with the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting has commenced. Please cast your vote in line with your voting decision. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting process. Please vote. Voting has now ended. At the end of voting, we have 7.159 billion units of shares, representing 100% of the total votes cast in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Resolution 5, which is to elect shareholder representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee. We will now take the resolution to elect shareholder representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee. Section 404, subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that nominations to the Audit Committee shall be in writing and shall be delivered to the Secretary at least 21 days before the annual general meeting. The Act requires that membership of the Audit Committee should consist of 5 members, consisting of 2 non-executive directors and 3 members of the shareholders of the company. The Secretary confirmed the receipt of 7 nominations and 1 withdrawal. Following the withdrawal, we now have 6 valid nominations for the election into the committee. The valid nominees are as follows. 1, Mr. Hassan Musa and Mr. Yakubu Ajara Oyiza. The nominee is Mr. Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari. Second is Mrs. Titi Lokwe Okonlawon, nominated by the nominee is Adebisi Bakari, Mrs. 3, Mr. Daudu Musbao Olasukomi. The nominee's name is Mr. Okeleye Adenike Elizabeth. Number 4, Ms. Nwamaka Chejina. The nominee's name is Mr. Henry Akwara. 5, Mr. Yusuf Olaitan Lukman. The nominee is Mr. Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi. And lastly, Mrs. Olanike Olaniyan. Nominee is Mr. Dayo Afelomo, representing WSTC Financial Services Limited. Since the maximum number of representatives of shareholders on the audit committee is 3, an election will be conducted. To facilitate smooth proceedings of this meeting, voting will be by count. The 3 nominees with the highest number of votes will represent shareholders on the audit committee. I now hand over to the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please note that shareholders can only vote for 1 shareholder at a time. 3 shareholders with the highest votes will be deemed elected. The voting session for each shareholder shall last for 30 seconds. The next slide shows the nominees. To elect the shareholder representative of the Statutory Audit Committee, Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari, please let us vote now.
Chairman, please, I want to know, let's get the number. You mentioned 2 people. Who are we voting for? Let's get the 2 names separately. Is it the person who nominated somebody that you are voting for or something? Let us get it before vote starts.
The name is Mr. Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari. It's on your screen as you speak. Check your screen now, sir. The second person that is being put up for a vote, Adebisi Bakari.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Good morning once again. My name is Prince Ridwan Hamza. With all due respect, sir, I think we should go over this voting again. Reason being that as far back as about 1 minute ago, Bisi Bakari's name has been showing on the screen. So let us take it over. We take Kabiru, those who want to vote for him votes without showing Mrs. Bakari's name. Then later, once we have done with that, we go like that through the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's take it again right from the outset. The nominee, Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari, his name is on the screen and is the person we're voting for now. Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari. Registrar can proceed to reflect how the voting pattern is. What's the result? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm given to believe that we'll have to wait for that till the end of the exercise. Registrar, are we good? Are we done with Mr. Kabir
Yes.
Tambari?
Can we take Mr. Kabiru all over again? Okay. Shareholders, please vote now. Yes, we are voting for Mr. Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari. Voting has now ended for Mr. Kabiru Abdullahi Tamari. We move to vote for Adebisi Bakari. Shareholders, please let us vote for Adebisi Bakari in line with your voting decision. We are voting for Mrs. Adebisi Bakari. The voting process has been completed. If you would like to vote for Okeleye Adenike Elizabeth, please vote now. Elections for Mr. Okeleye Adenike Elizabeth is ongoing. The voting period has now elapsed. If you would like to vote for Henry Aquara, please vote now. The voting process has now ended. If you would like to vote for Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi, please vote now. Election is ongoing for Mr. Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi. The voting process has now ended. If you would like to vote for Mr. Dayo Afelomo, representing WSTC Financial Services Limited, please cast your vote now. Voting has now ended. Mr. Chairman, we would like to request for 2 minutes to collate the election results before we announce. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And learn some more. So, travel with peace of mind under the AXA Travel Insurance cover.
give them the leverage to stay on the path to greatness. Get AXA Mansard education plan for your kids today.
Mr. Chairman, the election results have been collated. At the end of this voting, Dayo Afelomo, representing WSTC Financial Services, had 29 votes. Adebisi Bakari had 28 votes. Henry Aquara had 28 votes. Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi had 13 votes. Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari had 11 votes. Okeleye Adenike Elizabeth had 11 votes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. The newly constituted members of your audit committee are as follows. 1, Mr. Biola Bada, Mr. Mariano Caballero, representing the board, Mr. Dayo Afelomo, representing WSTC Financial Services Limited, Mrs. Adebisi Bakari, and the last but not the least, Mr. Henry Aquara. Adjournment. This concludes the business of the 32nd Annual General Meeting. I thank you all for attending this meeting, which I now declare closed. The National Anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Congratulations. Where we are? Yes, yes.
Ah, that smile. It beams with confidence, knowing that your entire crew is protected. Your building, work tools and assets are secure, and no accident will break your budget. Yes, that assurance that your risks are well mitigated. So keep smiling, knowing your dreams are protected. Build stories, not stories, with AXA Mansard Builders Liability Insurance Cover.